We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
Biden's approval rating drops, home sales fall, and more news from around the world. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. President Joe Biden's public approval rating this month fell to its lowest level in almost 2 years, tying the lowest reading of his presidency in a warning sign for his re-election effort, according to a Reuters Ipsos poll. The 4-day poll, which closed on Monday, showed just 36% of Americans approve of Biden's job performance as president, down from 38% in April. It was a return to the lowest approval rating of his presidency, last seen in July 2022. While this month's drop was within the poll's 3 percentage point margin of error, it could bode poorly for Biden as he faces off with Republican Donald Trump in the November 5th presidential election. Meanwhile, the Federal Reserve's annual report on the well-being of American households found that 65% of adults say that price increases meant their financial situation was worse in 2023 than in 2022. Home sales unexpectedly fell last month. People aren't buying houses. High interest rates coupled with high home prices led existing home sales to drop 1.9% in April from March. The sluggish sales during the usually busy home buying season come as the median price of a previously owned home rose by 5.7% from last year to $407,600, according to the National Association of Realtors. Although it was the second consecutive monthly decline, analysts weren't expecting it. Spain, Norway, and Ireland will recognize a Palestinian state. The 3 European countries announced the largely symbolic diplomatic moves yesterday as Israel continues to fight in Gaza, saying they hope to help bring about a two-state solution. Israel recalled its ambassadors from the countries in response, and Prime Minister Netanyahu called the recognition a reward for terrorism. The U.S. also opposed the decisions, with the White House saying the president believes a Palestinian state should be realized through direct negotiations between the parties, not through unilateral recognition. China's military surrounded Taiwan on Thursday in a large-scale show of force that risks locking the two sides in a fresh cycle of escalation. Growing mistrust of Beijing helped propel Lai Ching-te to the presidency of Taiwan, which he assumed earlier this week. The latest maneuvers only reinforced Beijing's commitment to using its military might to intimidate the island, even as doing so risks undermining its especially delicate ties to the U.S. The Eastern Theater Command of the People's Liberation Army announced 2 days of drills by Army, Navy, Air, and Rocket forces in areas encircling Taiwan Thursday. The show of force was intended to, quote, serve as a strong punishment for the separatist acts of Taiwan independence forces and a stern warning against the interference and provocation by external forces, unquote, said a spokesperson for the Chinese military, according to the official Xinhua news agency. U.S. and Ukrainian officials, as well as medics, soldiers, and international researchers, say Russia is increasingly using toxic gases on the battlefield. The U.S. announced sanctions earlier this month against Russian companies and government bodies involved in the creation and supply of chemical weapons used at the front, singling out chloropicrin. The chemical agent, sometimes used in pesticides, was weaponized during World War I and is banned for use in battle by the Chemical Weapons Convention, of which Russia is a signatory. Russian President Vladimir Putin has denied using chemical weapons, which are a violation of the Geneva Convention. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of The Raw Naked Truth at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.